So my favorite two words in the entire English language, which is kind of controversial. I asked ChatGPT this, is how do you actually spell this? They said the correct spelling is two words, but most of the time you see it as one word, but it's cash flow. Whether you have two words or one word, cash flow. One of my main investment strategies, my thesis, the way I really think through this is I optimize for cash flow because it helps me limit the downside risk. It helps me hedge against risk. It helps me hedge against volatility. Because the market does what the market does, and asset prices will always go up and they'll always go down. This is true all the way from real estate, right? I'd say a fairly safe bet, all the way to more speculative assets like crypto or DeFi. I mean, even art. Like prices of art move up and down. But what if you build a museum, you put all the art in there, and although the valuations of the art may go up or down, you have entry, some tickets, and people can come to shows, and you can rent it out for weddings and venues and whatever, and it cash flows you. I'm really big on that. Almost not everything, because I do have cars and I would never let someone drive them. I just got a 89 Carrera G-Body that's being shipped to me, and it's a classic car, costs six figures, and it's awesome. It's original paint, super low miles, very excited by it, analog, just pure driver's machine. I wouldn't let anyone drive that because no matter how much they paid me. I mean, I let friends and people drive it, but I want to do it for a Turo or something. Because it's more of an emotional, I don't see it, I kind of see it like an investment, but not really. It's more of an emotional, spiritual investment into me. And the chance of that car going up in value is fairly high, but I wouldn't care if it loses value. It's not a money move to me. But most areas in my life where I don't want to get emotionally attached to the asset, it's I want it to cash flow. I want my stocks and my dividends and my index funds to cash flow. I want my crypto portfolio to cash flow. I want businesses I'm involved in to cash flow. And I think that approach to thinking, or at least that being the foundational level, I am in things, I just want to be clear, I am in things that don't cash flow, but the base of my portfolio is built around things that cash flow. And the way I think through it is that it kind of protects me against the volatility of the assets. And, real estate will be less volatile than crypto DeFi, and, typically less volatile than the stock market. And the stock market and my index funds and my dividend investments are typically going to be less volatile than the crypto DeFi. You get the point. But as long as I'm cash flowing, the price of something can fluctuate. Okay, cool. But I'm getting a check every month. And then what I do with that check is really important, because if the price of some asset or some pool or whatever keeps going down and I'm making cash flow, then I can just reinvest it and buy back at cheaper prices. And the compound effect is almost on steroids at that point. I really hope that lands. I think it adds a layer of I don't care what the market does because I'm getting paid. And it adds this kind of I guess less impact on you emotionally. Oh, well, the house is making me money, and I'm dropped in price. Sure, the market's down a little bit, but it's all good. I'm still making cash flow. And you can almost kind of stomach the volatility easier and have more of a long-term mindset. You're much less concerned about the short-term movement of things and the short-term, the market does what the market does. You hear me say that a lot. And it's so driven by human emotion, especially in smaller markets like crypto and DeFi. And I'm just I don't play that game. I don't care. I'll just use the cash flow to buy more because I'm playing the long game. Really hope that lands. This is kind of our base foundational philosophy around the Underdog Investor Group and the Accelerator Program and Fast Track and what we teach to clients and members. It's kind of our pillar, our main kind of rock, so to speak. So, adopt it if you think it fits you, or at least investigate it, and maybe you'll find that, hey, this really fits my investment strategy and I'm going to apply it. With that said, if you like this episode, maybe make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you're watching it or listening to, and leave a comment, leave a review. And with that said, we'll see you tomorrow.